All right, let's go. All right, Tim, what do we got going today?
Well, Del, I guess everybody's saying we're not panicking yet. Sunday morning, we're not panicking, but what are your thoughts of the juniors?
Well, hockey needs a full-time coach and GM. That's for sure.
Right, because you look at Cameron, he coaches the 67s. So how is he going to go see the guys out in the Western League or the Quebec League?
Yeah.
And you want to see him in a game.
Yeah. He already has a full-time job.
He's already got a full-time job. I just think Hockey Canada doesn't want to pay.
No, too cheap.
Don't want to pay and see the crowds.
Well, money. People like hoarding it or whatever. But you're right. They need a full-time coach.
You have Michael Misa, who is on pace to score 140 points in the OHL and has 30 goals in 30 games. I mean... and
he didn't even get invited to camp.
He didn't even get invited to camp. Tate Parrott is reigning CSL defenseman of the year, and he wasn't even invited.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Like, how's that thought process of saying...
Oops, missed one.
Yeah, you're the number one defenseman in all of the CHL, but you're not good enough to play in Team Canada.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense.
No. And they're having trouble scoring on the power play.
But they need a full-time coach and GM.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
And you know what? He has to have total control.
Yeah, he has to have total control.
Well, I got to tell you, Dad, when I was scouting, it was just kind of a funny way that the whole thing went, that, you tried out for like the under 16 and the under 17 and then the under 18 and then the world. We were supposed to go and rate the kids at this kind of like it wasn't even a tournament, but it was kind of like a tryout camp, right? And all the OHL scouts who had watched the GTHL were there. So we've seen these kids 40 times, 50 times. And they wanted us to rate the kids in the camp. Well, we said, we don't need to watch them. Like, we could tell you, we watched these kids 50 times. You want the top 5 defensemen? These are the top 5 defensemen. These are the top 5 forwards. And they go, no, we're all these kids are coming. And the kids came and the parents had to pay them to come to the camp.
I don't believe in that.
And I don't know if they changed that or not, but this was maybe about 10, 15 years ago. And there was a lot of kids. There was like 4 teams of kids. And they were going to pick 10, not even 10. They knew even before they walked through the door who they were going to pick.
Yeah.
And, but the kids, they paid the money, and, Sherry Basson gave them a speech, and a nutritionist talked to them, and they got their picture taken, and they played a couple games. And I stopped after a time, because even we got paid, right? And it's just like, there should be a full
You guys got paid too.
Yeah, we got paid too. And it was like, there should be a full-time guy that has watched these kids.
Yeah.
And said, okay, these are the guys I want. Or just ask us, who are the top 10 guys? And then everybody give their top 10 players, and then they pick out of that. They didn't need to charge the kids to come for 3 days.
Well, I've said it before, and I've said it again. They need a full-time coach, and they need a full-time GM. And the coach has the final say.
And the one thing, too, Dad, you always said, don't embarrass kids. That goalie got embarrassed last year. Canada put 10 by him.
Yeah, he's out for revenge.
Yeah, so he'd been waiting a whole year.
Been waiting a whole year
to get back. But you always said, Dad, if you pour 60 shots at a goalie.
Well, 60 shots, that means he's seeing the puck. He's seeing too much of the puck.
Well, we're not panicking. They played Germany tonight. If they lose to Germany, then we'll panic. Yeah. But just before we go, it's funny that Zane Parrick, he didn't get invited, being the CHL Defenseman of the Year. The same thing happened when Babcock didn't want PK Subban. He was the Norris Trophy winner, and he says he's not taking him to.
I remember that as clear as the bell. St. Louis skated right off the ice, and Subban went out and practiced, and St. Louis skated right off the ice.
Right, but you stuck up for Subban. You said he can't be the reigning Norris Trophy winner and not be on Team Canada.
Well, that's the way. Boy, that was a good team.
Yeah, but
they were getting better.
Yeah, they could have won.
They could have won 10 in a row. Anyhow, I still say hockey needs a full-time coach and GM.
Okay, now we're going to take some questions from the audience. What's next?
All right, from Blue Bloodhound. Merry Christmas, Grapes. Can you comment on how good John Tavares is playing? And you're right. He doesn't seem to get the love like the other players do on the Leafs.
He's second with 17 goals. He's third in the points with 36. He's highest plus and minus for the forwards. He's over 55% win in the faceoffs. Yes, I would say that he's playing for next year's contract. That's my personal opinion.
I don't think the Leafs are going to be able to pay him big money if they sign Marner.
Well, no.
But some team is. I mean, the way he's playing,
he's going to get big dole next year.
Yeah, if he's going to leave Toronto. We said this before, and we'll say it again. He never seemed to have gotten the good publicity that. Like the same type of goodwill that Matthews and Marner have.
And he got the warm
Gilmore.
Yeah.
Gilmore
and Clark and all those guys.
Well, I like the story Clark told us. He said we were sitting around drinking beer in the trainer's room, and he was getting intravenous.
I remember the time in that playoff series with LA, he cut through center and Marty hit him. And then him and Marty and Wendell Clark really went at it. I'm watching coaches. I said, "No, is Dad going to be mad at Marty for hitting Dougie because Dougie's one of your favorites, or are you going to give it to Dougie for cutting to the center because Marty's one of your one of your favorites, and you gave it to Dougie Gilmore?" You said,
"How could a guy going on cut and along the blue line too?
The blue line,
and Marty was waiting there for him."
Just think about that Calgary San Jose game last night. There was a big hit.
Oh, that was a beauty.
Okay, Dal, what's next?
All right, Broadway Blue 11. Merry Christmas, Don. At the start of the season, the Rangers were a top pick to win the Cup. Now they might not even make the playoffs. What happened?
I don't know, but trading Trouba wasn't one of the smartest moves they made, and I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
You know, it's funny how you go, what's wrong with New York Rangers? I think the last thing you say is, your hard-hitting captain defenseman is your problem, right?
Yeah.
I don't get that.
I don't know.
And
the whole team
seems to, I don't know, I would say they quit, but they don't seem to have.
You don't have that spark.
Yeah, and they don't looks like they're not getting rid of Laviolette because they would have by now.
Yeah, they would have gotten rid of him before that.
The fun thing, Dad, we talked about last night, we were watching the Leaf game, and Jacob Chikrin was on. Why did Ottawa get rid of Jacob Chikrin?
I really don't know. 26 years old, can put the puck in the net.
He's got 23 points. He's plus 14. And, why would Ottawa get rid of him?
I don't know. There's got to be a reason. Unless he wanted to go. He never said no.
No, he never said he wanted to go, and his grandparents were from Ottawa.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the coach didn't like him.
I don't know.
You used to be able to get rid of guys that you didn't like.
I remember he was an Irish guy, too. Big, beautiful Irish guy. And he had a beard like you did.
Yeah.
And I was walking by the shower, and he says, "I know you don't like beards, Grapes. I'll shave it off." I says, "Leave it on."
But that was after he said he was going to get Wilf Paymont.
He was going to get Wilf Paymont. He was going to get Wilf Paymont. And I kept putting him out against Wilf Paymont. He never did anything.
Yeah, I remember you saying Wilf Paymont.
Nobody fooled around with Wilf Paymont.
I remember the time, too, you were telling me that Harry Sinden didn't want you to play Johnny Busick.
Oh, yeah. He says, don't play Busick. He's been in the league now for 400 years.
He's the captain.
Team captain. Don't play him. I said, you don't play him.
From Sens 101, Merry Christmas, Grapes. Going into the Christmas break, the Sens are in the playoffs. Can they make the playoffs this year?
They will make the playoffs. Just get in, and I think they'll do. I think they'll do pretty good too. They got a pretty good club.
Yeah, they do. I mean, their goalie's hurt right now, and they're on that long road trip. But you know,
They've got a lot of firepower.
They got a lot of firepower, and that goalie gets hot. You never know. That's the whole thing. Just make the playoffs and go from there.
Go for the playoffs. When I had the Bruins, I used to go for the playoffs for the very first day.
Okay, Ricky on X. Will Winnipeg go further than the Oilers, the Canucks, and the Leafs this year in the playoffs?
It all depends on Hellebuck. I hate to say it, but it's true. The way he plays during the season, he's got to do it in the playoffs.
Do you think he plays too much?
I used to play for 40 some games.
Yeah, like when you look at Cheevers and Gilbert, they basically almost split the games 50-50.
Yeah.
But do you think, like Hellebuck, he's like 60-some games. Do you think that's too much?
Tell a record that Gilbert had.
Jilly Gilbert still holds the record for the most consecutive wins at 17. So not 17 games in a row, like 17 starts in a row.
17 nights in a row. 17
games that he started, he won.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and they had ties.
I didn't even know that.
And they had ties back then. So, like, you know, the goalies today, that game could be a tie, and then they win in overtime is considered a win. 17 starts, he won. And just think, like, Price hasn't beat that. Brodeur hasn't beat that. Like, all the great Hall of Fame goalies.
Great goalies.
And it still stands today.
I think the players played a little harder for him.
Yeah, because they knew you didn't like them.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
Okay, Dad. Speaking of Gilbert, here's a question. This one's from Shoot the Puck from X. Hey, Grapes, I don't know where I heard this, but is it true when you were coaching the Bruins during the game in Vancouver, Gilbert was skating out of his net before the period ended, and Vancouver shot at the length of the ice and scored with 1 second left? Is that true?
You know, I remember that. I think he was taking his gloves and off when the guy shot. Oh no! And the players, no. I don't know. I think he was, but I never could prove it.
Well, you know, second left, right? Tell you you're a goalie, you're just kind of skating off and
you're not paying attention at all.
The guy shot at the length.
I think he was taking his gloves off when.
Did you ask him?
No, I never asked him. No, he wouldn't say yes.
Okay. Jamie Aubin from Facebook. Hey, Grapes. I saw an article the other day about hockey enrollment is down for boys in this country, to the point that there are now more U.S. boys playing minor hockey than Canadians. How do you fix our dwindling numbers? You're around the minor hockey kids all the time. What are you seeing?
Well, first of all, hockey is one of the most expensive sports in the world to play. Right, Tim?
Yeah. Next to like maybe equestrian, you happen to have a horse. Hockey's the most expensive for sure.
For sure. The skates alone, what are the skates?
Oh, they could be $300-400.
No, they're like $2,000 now. Yeah. Like starting price, bare minimum is $1,000.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the sticks are like $300.
$350 a piece, and not including the tax.
That's for sure.
I remember. So this was how long ago? I was still scouting. I still remember where we were. We were at the Etobicoke Ice Sports watching the Marlies, and a kid took a slap shot and his stick exploded, and the father just screamed out, "Ah!" He just swore, and so I laughed and I go, "How much was that?" And back then it was only $200. So he said, "Oh, it was $200." And I said, "How much have you spent on sticks this year?" He said, $5,000.
$5,000
on sticks.
You gotta buy them
sticks
wholesale.
alone.
On sticks alone. And I said, "How do you spend $5,000 on sticks?" He says, "You got practice." He says, "They got, they're practicing every day. You got the games. They have the tournaments." He says, "He's on ice taking shots." He says, "Going through $5,000 worth of sticks is nothing."
Yeah, they're not rich people.
No, it's becoming that. It's becoming a rich person's game, right? You can't and.
That's the reason that there's so many Americans in the game now.
Yeah, they have the money. For skaters, that is bad. But Dal, you were a goalie. How much was it for you?
I look right now, Black Friday sale or Boxing Day sale that just came out. It was full pads, gloves, full sale, 40% off, still $1,600.
$1,500.
Yeah, and that doesn't include the stick.
No sticks.
Which would be, how much are the goalie sticks now?
They're $300 to $350. Yeah. Then you got skates. Those are $1,000, even off more. Chest protector. You want to stop them, not feel them.
Yeah, you know. So
Yeah.
so you're looking at a goalie even on Boxing Day. You're still looking at what? 25.
Yeah, $5,000 to probably go head to toe.
Well, head to toe, it's expensive sport.
From Alan J. Man. Hey, Grapes. Do you think the NHL should allow each team to have a franchise player whose salary does not go against the cap?
I do. The more I think of it, who would be the Leafs right now?
Well, you get Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
Austin Matthews.
You know, and then McDavid, you could go all those teams, and then they're able to kind of build around there instead of losing guys, right?
Yeah, I never thought of that. That's a good idea.
If you say franchise, though, there should be like, you lock this player in for your franchise player for 5 years. You can't swap him out for a new player.
No, it's got to be like a 5 or a 10-year contract.
Yeah.
Pretty good idea.
Before we go, I'm just going to ask you, we were watching the game last night. What'd you think of Ovechkin coming back? And how long will it take?
Well, it'll take him. He was hot. Wasn't he hot?
yeah, we had like 11 goals in 13 games or something.
Yeah. He was hotter than a firecracker.
But you know what, the one thing I really was interesting, after the game they interviewed him, and you noticed his stick.
I noticed the stick is shorter.
Yeah, like the whole thing now is long sticks, right?
Yeah, and he's got a short stick.
Oh, like a really short stick.
Yeah, I mean, it is really short.
Like, it doesn't even go up. It goes up to his chest.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Damn.
Whatever he's doing, though, just keep it up.
Yeah. Well, they're going pretty good, and he'll get back on track.